Hello and welcome back to Boardroom Insights. I'm here today with René Carayol. René is a global leader in leadership. And what I find remarkable is René's real hands-on work on leadership. Many gurus talk about working with heads of state. I'm not quite sure how much of that is real, but I do know for sure René's work is real. René does work with leaders and heads of state. So today we're going to be talking all things leadership. We're going to talk about the way the world has changed and the way COVID indeed has particularly brought profound changes to the role of leader. Let's start then. René, thank you. Great to see you, and you're very, very welcome. So
Alan,
René,
it's a real privilege and a pleasure to be here.
well,
And especially as we're going to talk leadership. And as you said, if you're looking for theory, clever philosophy, and an academic lecture, turn off now, please.
right,
It's not coming.
it's not coming.
Pragmatic, practical, and as you say, hands-on. This is from within the boardroom, within the executive suite, most of all in the chief executive's office.
Great
And just
stuff.
to set the scene for today, Saturday was a tough day for me and my family. It was the anniversary of losing my wife, and so it's a really tough day. And
And René, how long ago was that? It's a few years, isn't it?
would you believe 24 years?
Right.
So
Okay.
my daughter's around, my son's around, my grandson's around. And every year I end up cooking at home on that Saturday, the nearest Saturday, and everyone comes around. First thing in the morning, I get a WhatsApp from the Prime Minister of Jamaica, Andrew Holness. My wife's parents were Jamaican. And it just said, no, it's going to be a tough day. My thoughts are with you.
Wow.
Now, that's what I call leadership.
For
There was
sure.
no audience. He's not playing to a gallery.
Yeah.
It cost him nothing, didn't have to do it. Guess what it meant to me and my kids whose mum was of Jamaican heritage?
Right. Right. That's real empathy, isn't it?
That's what I call lead. He's got, and they've just had the hurricane over there. He's as
Yeah.
busy gets. I wouldn't have thought I was anywhere on his agenda.
Wow. That's amazing.
Guess what that meant for my day? So to me, it starts and ends there. And this is the definition of leadership today. It's not big gargantuan things that the leaders I respect do. They do something special every day, something small that recognizes someone and helps to build trust.
Yeah. That's
Trust
incredible.
is the biggest driver of business performance today.
Why do you say that?
So, and this is the definition that will cover everything we do today. The role of today's leader: to create an environment where everyone, no matter what their background, feels they can turn up every day, bring their authentic self to their place of work, not feeling judged and not being forced to fit in. Return on that investment: they'll go the extra mile for you every day. It's the feeling of being wanted, not just needed. And what we've seen over the past 5 years, that's the biggest driver of business performance. Some might call it belonging, some might call it inclusion. We call it leadership.
And how does a leader show that in, okay, the example you gave on Saturday is a very personal one, but in terms of running a business, René, how does a leader show that kind of inclusion and sense of making people feel wanted, not just included?
So let me start by taking you back 25 years ago when I got into this coaching thing by complete accident. When I started out then, and my first ever client was Matt Barrett, the newly appointed chief executive of Barclays Bank, the first non-Brit of a 350-year-old British institution. The second not from the family. This was seismic. He was Irish-Canadian.
Right.
He came from the Bank of Montreal. Nicknamed Sean Connery, which tells you everything. The coolest man in town.
Right.
At that time, the businesses I was working in, they were a hierarchy. At the top of every business, and I choose my words carefully, was the cleverest man in the room.
Okay.
They made every call. They made every decision. Nothing moved without them. They authorized every process, every procedure. Nothing moved without. It was a real hierarchy, and it was a rigid hierarchy. Control was at the top. And if I look at the role model, the poster man, the poster boy of that era, Jack Welch, GE.
Oh dear. Right. Okay.
Brilliant of their time.
Yes.
But then we had the advent of technology. It started from there till now. And what has that brought? Velocity, pace, complexity. So much so, over time, no one person can make all those calls on their own. And my coaching changed. And for 10 years, we called it collaboration is the new leadership.
Okay.
It was about the team. And no one person could do it on their own. We chose a team. And the line that we chose, when a new leader came in and inherited their predecessor's team, it didn't quite work. Why? Because everybody is brilliant at something and no one's brilliant at everything. But for each of us, the one or two things, three things we were brilliant at was different in every one of us. The team around and where I spent most of my time was it's no longer the best person for the job. It's the best person for the team. That's a complete shift in mindset.
René, doesn't that require a level of humility, by the way? I mean, just for that leader to be able to bravely start including others and not be so focused on themselves.
And I might say that's what we were in charge to bring. That was my job. That's how we were continuously booked. To come in and move to an environment where talent, it wasn't just talent, it was those who would represent, and here's the crux of it. What we coached was everyone's unique. The team you need, Alan, the team I need, will be quite different. Let's accept that. And I suppose Alex Ferguson at Manchester United is a great example. In his time, he built 3 or 4 different teams for different eras. As he changed, the teams need to change. As he became different over time with wisdom, with age, with experience, what worked for him first time round didn't work next. He could change the whole team. Other clubs changed leaders when it didn't work. If we to look back at the era of the great Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United,
yeah,
he didn't have one team. He built 4 completely different teams over his time.
Over the 20 plus years that he was there, yeah.
Because he changed. There were 4 Alex Fergusons. Each era was a bit, the guy that came from Aberdeen in the early days who won nothing for the first few years, the guy who was to win so many European Cups and Premier Leagues, they were different Alex Fergusons. At other clubs, that would have been 4 different managers. He was able to adapt in a way that was unbelievable.
So he adapted. So you're saying that it wasn't just through getting older. He actually deliberately adapted his style to suit whatever the world at large or the players that he was playing with.
And consequently, the teams had to change.
Right.
The teams had to change. And if I work with a leader whose strengths are communication, vision, joining the dots, the sort of people I have around them aren't replicating that leader. It's not the homogeneity of old that we all look the same, come from the same background, we know the same things, we speak the same language. But here's the rub, and this is why the coach was essential, and I might say that, wouldn't I? It's because when it's homogenous, we're all from similar backgrounds, similar educational styles, and blah, 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 blah. Decision-making is really easy and quick. Alignment and agreement is really quick. But do you get to the best decisions?
Not necessarily, no.
Maybe not. When we all come from different backgrounds and it's very diverse, that alignment is a lot tougher on the leader.
Right.
It takes more time. It takes more listening. It takes more cajoling. It takes more coaxing. But the outcomes, well, and we always say that the first thing that I coach on is never move too far away from the dissenting voices. They are essential to a great outcome, no matter how irritating they may be.
Yeah.
They are essential. And that unanimity, that homogeneity, that instant alignment, it took some time to realize that wasn't the best outcome.
And René, that doesn't come naturally to a lot of people, that ability to be able to openly invite and include and listen to others' perspectives.
You've hit the biggest challenge we have today, where we've outsourced our voices, our politeness, our sophistication, our understanding of our diplomacy, our understanding of wanting to be aligned. We're keeping quiet at times when we should find a voice. And we're seeing it in the boardrooms, we're seeing it in the schools, we're seeing it in our hospitals, we're seeing it in our communities, where we're leaving the platforms to those who are least fitted to lead because of our politeness, our wanting to be aligned, our wanting to fit in, our wanting not to be seen to be the rogue voice, the challenger brand, the person that's going to have a different point of view. And so we've muted those.
Are you touching on wokeism here now, René, with that point?
I think much deeper and broader than that. Much deeper and broader. We see it every day. I see it in the boardroom. I see it in the executive team. I see it just about everywhere. Schools, young men, young women, older men, faith groups, gender issues. We've got voices that are prepared to be challenging, to be rogue, to be nasty, to be confrontational. And the majority is sitting there rather supine, polite. We've been brought up to be so. So what I bring into the executive suite and into the boardroom is challenge is good, challenge is healthy, delivered in the right way.
Well, of course, respectfully delivered, sure.
But most of all, I'm getting the leaders to see it as beneficial, advantageous, necessary, vital. Having everyone just agree because we're polite, we're brought up to be subservient, is the biggest danger I see in today's boardroom.
So if you think about, I mean, when you Google the word leadership, I think something like, I don't know how many million options come up. So there are so many diverse views on leadership, but you're really stressing EQ, I guess, emotional intelligence here, René, that need to be human, that need to be inclusive and listening. But are you saying that they have come to the fore, that the other technical skills of a leader are still, I'm sure they haven't gone away, but are you pushing out this whole self-awareness and EQ point even stronger?
So I lecture at a couple of business schools here.
Yeah.
We lecture management, the science, the measurement,
Yeah.
the strategy, the plans, the ratio.
Yeah. The typical competency. Yeah.
Those things are still essential.
Yeah.
You know, and as a good book always says, if you can't measure, you can't manage. They're essential. Without them, we go out of business tomorrow.
Right.
They're no longer enough on their own anymore. We take the bedrock of management, which we call the hardware. Without it, you go out of business. On
Very
top
good.
of it, though, in today's turbulent times, you need more than that.
Yeah.
And we would say you need leadership, the software.
Right. Very
When
good.
I say leadership, purpose, vision, people, teams, culture. Purpose,
vision,
vision,
team,
people,
culture.
That's what we coach. Purpose, vision, people, teams, culture.
Right.
And you may call it the EQ. We call it the software.
Yeah.
It's
Gotcha.
how, if management is the hard stuff that we measure,
I love that.
leadership is the stuff that we feel.
Right. And René, has that particularly been escalated since COVID, or are you saying what you're saying was there even before COVID, but now it's more rounded?
COVID put the fine point on it, made
Right.
it universal, made it essential. When your resources could be absolutely anywhere, in any time zone, speaking where English might be their third language,
Yeah.
where they worship differently, where they live differently, where they love differently, leaders had to change, had to adapt. My people aren't standing in front of me. My people aren't in the same room as me. My people aren't in the same continent as me.
Right.
My people don't come from the same background as me. And we had to coach people to create environments, virtual environments, real environments,
That's hard.
environments across continents.
Yeah.
Some took to this amazingly, and create the environment where people felt they were part of something special.
Yeah.
Some may call it belonging. Some may call it inclusion. Some may call it, but it's the environment. Stop trying to fix the people, fix the environment.
And who have you seen, or what have you seen, René, in those great leaders who have managed to do this online leading so well?
Forget online for a moment. That's too limiting.
Okay.
It's what people should do every time, no matter what the context, no matter where they are.
Right.
And if I give you a worked example, think Zelenskyy. Ukraine was a broken nation.
Yeah.
For many years, it was Europe's broken nation. They could never agree on anything. They were each other's throats.
Yeah.
It was difficult, and many would say corruption was rife. Many would say it was just difficult. After the invasion, they needed to come together.
They did.
And what did we find as a leader? Some might say a former comedian. I would say a great communicator who understood how to bring people together, no matter where they were, no matter what their background.
I agree.
Where did it start? Purpose, vision, people, teams, culture. Let me say it again. Purpose, vision, people, teams. Gave them a cause, gave them a purpose.
Yeah.
Gave them a vision. Made them come
a great
together as
example.
teams. And I see that in lots of different places, lots of different continents. And it's that, and here's the definition. It's the ability to energize your people towards a vision. Big word, energize. Not tell, not measure, not confront, not challenge. It's energize and vision.
Yeah.
And why? When the science of management says it can't be done, get to the art of leadership. It's an art form. It's not a science. When they say it can't be done, get the leaders in.
I see. So when you say it's not it's an art form, isn't there a strong view that some people they're born leaders, and therefore because they're born leaders, that's it. So you have to be a born leader to be a leader. What's your take on that?
You're up to provoke me this morning. So the perennial question we get: are leaders born or leaders made? It frustrates me. Leaders are not born. Let's just boot that one out the window. Kick it so far so it goes. It's the most dangerous concept in the world.
Okay.
Secondly, are leaders made? Yes, some are. But here's where I want the mindsets to go to. Leaders are found.
Leaders are
found. They're not born, they're not made, they're found. The role of every leader, go find the gift of leaders that are given to you already in your business and organization. Be you a hospital, be you a school, be you Johnson & Johnson, be you Bank of America. There are leaders gift wrapped for you. Forget experience, forget job title, forget hierarchy, forget rank, forget education. Go find those people who can galvanize others to a vision. Who can get those people aligned?
How do you recognize them?
Good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders. Okay. They come to you. The regional leader was coming to Zambia in Africa for the first time in 6 months because of the pandemic. Asked for a social gathering. Let's get everyone together. Let's get ourselves going again. David is chosen to organise it. He decides it's going to be a pizza evening. He sends out the communique. The regional leader comes in. We get to the pizzeria. Hardly anyone's there. Really disappointing. Because I'm coming back next month. But this time he gives it to Sally to organise. He turns up, same pizzeria, same social evening. It's packed to the rafters. What's the difference? Sally coaxed, Sally cajoled. Sally realised that everyone was different. Everyone needed a different stroke. Everyone needed a different approach. Some needed challenging. Some needed an email. Some needed WhatsApp.
Right.
Do you know what? Sally's a leader.
Very good. Very good.
Let's not lose that. Sally's a leader. Empower her. Liberate her. Trust her. Watch what Sally can do for you as the leader. Your job, go find as many Sallys as you can. Why? The business with the most leaders wins. The teams with the most leaders wins. It's leadership. Leadership is today's currency. In consistent times where we can anticipate, we can predict, where it's certain, management alone will get you there. In our uncertain times, which are ambiguous, which are difficult, which are challenging, which are turbulent, you need as many leaders around the organisation as you can possibly get. They provide calm. They provide vision. They provide a level of certainty. they lead.
So interesting, René, you're not focused here on role-specific leaders. You're saying that leaders are everywhere, not just with stripes on their arm, be it head of state or head of a department or a CEO. You're seeing leaders can be even in the rank and file, is what you're using that analogy.
You're right, I'd go further. Everyone can be a leader if they choose to be. Leadership is not about rank, it's not about job title. It's a mindset and an attitude. And once you've decided to become a leader, no one can take it away from you.
Yeah.
And this is why we see leaders in security, at reception, at the hospital front desk, in the hotel reception. We see them directing traffic. We see them as heads of state. We see them heads of department. We see them in the restaurants. And if once you've got an eye and an ear for it, you'll see them everywhere. You'll notice them. What do? You empower. So here's another story. We're lucky enough to work with the Beverly Wilshire Hotel in Los Angeles. Voted 7 years on the trot the #1 hotel in the world. That doesn't come by accident.
Okay.
Todd, the general manager, is phenomenal. They have 3 doormen who do the 3 8-hour shifts every day. If you're a luxury hotel, your reception is everything. That entry point is everything. Sure. These 3 guys are pumped every day. They're incredible. No matter when you come, they're in best bib and tucker, and they're on form. You feel that they work just for you. They recognise just you. How? Todd has a managers meeting every Friday morning, 10 o'clock. He invites the 3 doormen every week.
Does he really?
Guess how that makes them feel? No matter what shift they're on, they turn up. But it doesn't stop there. They're not item number 23. They're not item number 9. They don't get it. They are item number 1.
Oh.
The first thing every Friday morning, Todd says, so guys, what have we learnt this week? What more can we do for our customers? What have we got wrong? Guess how they feel? That's it. They're pumped for the week.
Yes, yeah.
It's 5 minutes at the start of every manager's meeting. They're made to feel like leaders. They're made to feel important. They're recognised. Who do you invite to your manager's meeting?
Sure. So let's go back to the reality that there are leaders that are in a leadership role, both in terms of title, CEOs, heads of state. What are you seeing? Because I know, René, that you also made a comment recently. I think you said it in your book, actually, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But it's the loneliest job in the world. It's the toughest job in the world. Talk a bit about that.
So look, it's when we get to the top of the organisation, to the top of the business, to the top of the nation, to the top of the school, it's the toughest job in the world. It's the loneliest job in the world. It's the best job in the world. And sometimes it's all 3 within 10 minutes.
Yes, right. But when you say lonely,
here's what I see. When I started 25 years ago, once a year, the chief executive would have the challenge of all challenges. The data they're going to make the tough call on, they know is suboptimal. It's inappropriate. It's out of date. But they've got to make that call at that moment. The immediate audience they're with, it might be the board, the investors, the China team, the supply chain team, the auditors. I'm going to have to take them with me. I put my game face on. I'm in the most encouraging you've ever seen. I'm the most confident you've ever been. I just got to make this call, despite the data being insufficient. That's draining. That's difficult. But I'd see them for the hour before. We'd get them going. We'd do, and they'd do it. Alan, today I'm seeing that 3 times in a day.
Really?
They've got to make that call. That's a level of intensity and pressure that's unheard of. And so what I'm seeing at the top of the house with the chief executive and sometimes the head of state, 3 things are happening that I've never seen before. At any given time, I'm looking after 5 chief executives. I don't have the bandwidth to do. I'm not big enough and clever enough to do any more than that simultaneously. Today, 4 of my 5 are in the departure lounge.
Of their own volition, or
2 I've encouraged, 2 of their own volition or circumstance. Out of them, none of them want to do it again. They're going to go and do something different. They're not finished. But that is one and done. They've had enough.
Really?
They're going to go and do some are traveling, some are teaching, some will go and do voluntary work. They just need to recharge those batteries. The second thing I'm seeing is the tenure. The 15 years, 20 years at the top, that's never going to happen again.
No, right.
Where now, America is 5 years, Europe is 6 years, average tenure for the CEO. But I'm seeing it shrinking even faster.
Interesting.
Final thing. I've coached 5 elite championship boxers, world champions. David Hay, Ricky Hatton. The profile, the life they lead is analogous to the chief executive I work with. The biggest thing that links them, lack of vulnerability. They don't believe they can be vulnerable. And what is it like? It's the loneliest job in the world, the best job in the world, the toughest job, all simultaneous. My biggest breakthrough with them, vulnerability is a strength. I work with Conor Benn, who just won the fight recently. I work with Conor Benn. Just after he was crushed by having been accused of taking performance-enhancing drugs, he was at a low point. A low point I can't explain to you how low. I was scared he might do something. It was my job to get him back on the road.
Wow.
We worked with recently sadly departed Ricky Hatton, a special, special man. And before he was suicidal, we worked with him for 3 years to get him back in the saddle.
Gosh.
And we had to coach him that vulnerability is, don't hide from it. It's a strength. Another story. One of my, she was president of Europe, big American retailer, British. During the pandemic, she had 70 VPs, vice presidents, running Europe.
Okay.
For 3 years, they never met. For the first time, they come together at the Grove Hotel near Heathrow. I'm going to run the day off. And because in the euphoria in the room, because they're meeting face to face, hugging back, having high fives, getting together, calmed them down. And I said, Louise, why don't we kick this off with me interviewing you? She sits down. I've known we've got a great relationship, and I just start interviewing her. Easy question. What have the last 18 months been like? She said, outstanding, because of the people in this room. If it wasn't for the people in this room who I've totally trusted, totally empowered, they've made all the calls. They've made this happen. They've been wonderful. And I looked around and you could feel the room. Someone at the back coughed loudly. Never be too far away from the dissenting voices. I walked to the back of the room, eventually stood up, said, Louise, you've been brilliant, but the last 3 months you put out 3 new processes. They're making us jump through hoops. Makes me feel as though you no longer trust us. And it's just so odd, so unlike you. She stands up, blotching red, and says, I did put those processes in, but it was about getting us to be more efficient. In no way did I intend to remove any decision-making authority from you. In fact, let's cancel those with immediate effect. They are gone. They're dropped with immediate effect from the place erupted again.
Right.
Whistling, clapping, standing. I'd take a 5-minute break because I just couldn't. What she proved, vulnerability is a strength.
Right.
And if you're prepared to stand, this is where probably 50% of my time is at the moment. It's when something goes wrong, stand up, fess up. We don't see that enough.
No, that's
big problems
hard,
at the
isn't
BBC recently. A natural mistake we could understand, a misedit. Why did it take 4 days to apologise? What I'm coaching my leaders to do, when there's a problem, go towards it.
Right.
And not just go towards it, fess up. If you fess up, and I hear some people saying, never ever apologise, sign of weakness. Take those people outside and shoot them. The truth is, when something goes wrong, own up instantly. The sooner you The sooner you own up, the sooner it goes away. The longer you wait, the longer it gets to become, it just bubbles up till it's overwhelming. It normally means your resignation.
Yeah.
Go towards it. Fess up. The byproduct. If you do fess up, people try harder without fear. When they realise you're human as well, you're vulnerable, they'll try harder without fear.
Yeah.
If you don't fess up, they'll never be transparent with you. They'll never tell you the truth. If something goes wrong, they'll never tell.
But doesn't it just go against the established wisdom around what makes a great leader? It's someone who is just so strong in everything that they do. But you're saying it doesn't have to be like that. Vulnerability is one strength, actually, and having that willingness to open up.
I'd go even further, my good friend. It's those days, the Jack Welch days, they were invulnerable. They made every decision they could make. That doesn't exist. The more human you become, the more humble you become. So there's 3-4 things we coach every day. The 4 biggest things we're coaching today, by far the biggest one. Be more compassionate than you think you need to be every day. That's the iron bit at the centre. Be more compassionate than you think need to be every day. Watch that return on investment. Give more authority to those who haven't found their voice and you think is necessary every day.
Right.
Watch the return on investment. Be bold. Call it out. If someone misbehaves or does something wrong, call it out with care.
Okay.
Don't ostracize. Don't confront. Don't exclude. Coach them. Today's leader, I would define them, you're the leader of leaders. You're the coach of coaches. You're not on the white charger, King Henry V. No, those days are long gone. Forget that. The Eisenhower days, those days are long gone. You're not going to be brave and bold and make everything and fear nothing. No. You're going to be the model exemplar. You are the example. You're the coach of coaches. You're the leader of leaders.
Do you see any difference here as we bring the Gen Zs into the marketplace, and very soon they'll be the leaders of the future, in fact? But what are your thoughts?
I see tensions. I see people not understanding each other.
Yeah.
I see a younger generation looking at those of my vintage and seeing those who followed the rules slavishly, those who didn't have a voice, those who do exactly what they're told, those who don't have an opinion, those who want order, who are all about governance, all about trying to do things right, where they would want to do the right things. And what I hear from those of my vintage, snowflakes, moan about everything, not prepared to work the long hours, not prepared to climb the greasy pole, wants everything immediately, entitled, There's never smoke without fire. There's an element of truth in both. The power of the fusion, if we can bring those two things together, collaboration is the new leadership.
Great. I want to just flick over to a different question linked to everything you said about heads of state. And I'm going to put you on the spot here, René, but tell me about your views of Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister of UK. How do you rate him? I mean, he's had a tough time, and people talk about his U-turns and so on, but what's your take on his leadership style? Leaving the politics aside, we don't need to get into a political debate, just his style of leadership.
So it's a great question. Look, Keir's a manager. He's a manager exemplar. He manages. The Labour Party was in such a state when he took over. It needed management.
Right.
And he managed. If you remember, they were unelectable. If you go back a few years ago, there was nothing they couldn't blow. No matter how brilliant it was, there was nothing they couldn't mess up. And if someone looks at their core competence, missing every opportunity that came their way. And different factions, the Conservative Party were in forever. They were never going to lose. They were a machine at winning elections. When Keir took over, he made them electable. And it shocked all of us. Got no credit for it. No one gets credit for doing the cleaning out the stables, doing all the basic rudimentary stuff, getting them aligned, giving them something to belong to. Did he create excitement? Did he energize? Did he have a vision for the future? I'm not so sure. I certainly missed it if he did. I think he's built that management platform I've been talking about. Is he the man for the long-term future? I'm not so sure.
But at a point in
Would you give
time,
him credit for the job he's done? Incredibly so. Here's the challenge I would put Keir's way now. I'd give it to lots of political parties who come from opposition. His job is to create a generation of leaders for the future. And his job is to get himself out of office sooner than people may think. At the moment, he's going a little too quickly in getting himself out of office. But I think long enough for us to have a new generation of leaders. Sometimes your role is to create the next generation. Let me go back. I'm a Chelsea fan. Let me go back to Sir Alex Ferguson again. Look how many successful football managers played for Alex Ferguson. Look how many successful football managers played for Jose Mourinho. Look how many successful football managers played for Carlo Ancelotti. They're the coach of coaches. They're the leaders of leaders.
right.
That's what Keir Starmer needs to do. Will he be remembered as the most charismatic? No. But create a generation of leaders for the future. That's his role, sooner rather than later. And you know what? They're starting to emerge.
Okay.
And the dissent that's coming in the party sometimes is where leadership comes from. Will it be the dissenters? I don't think so. It'll be those who are offended by the dissenters.
So that links into your book, Spike, and here it is. So when I read this, you're quite a controversial guy, René, and I know you do
That's
spark.
the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
You spark controversy because your views are so strong, but also based on experience. As you said at the beginning, this isn't about academia. This is about hard-earned, pragmatic experience. And you've already made the point about the leaders needing to bring software to the fore. The hardware takes care of itself almost. You know, that kind of stuff is trainable. We've all been on many, many leadership programs to learn that hardware stuff. But that software, that needs to be developed, and it can be developed. So great point. But in your book, Spike, you once again went against established wisdom, because for most people, through their careers, whether it be in sport, whether it be in work, they've always been encouraged to work on their weaknesses and to develop their weaknesses to reverse those weaknesses and turn them into strengths. You've taken a completely different view with Spike. So explain.
It took me a long time. I grew up in that environment where they called them weaknesses then. Today we call them limitations. Areas for development, areas for improvement. My annual appraisal, no matter where I worked, always ended up something like this. Really, these 2 or 3 things that you're very good at, and we're very pleased with those. Can we just park those? Hang on a minute, please.
Dear.
Can we just park those? Can we focus on the 104 things you are really not so good at?
Oh dear.
An hour session will be dominated by 57 minutes of looking at my limitations. And I could never swing the conversation back to my strengths. They used to call them PDPs, personal development plan, was 28 things I was useless at. Can you imagine coming in every day to focus on the 28 things that you're really useless at? I found something that worked for me nearly by accident. The 2 or 3 things I was really good at, if I focused on those, I tended to really enjoy them. I tended to be really good at them. My time flew. And I'd tend to get promoted. And my superiors would catch me doing things right because that's what I focused on. And what I was doing in my team was recruiting in people who did all the things I wasn't so good at. Balancing out, compensating for the things I was useless at. And I did the same thing for them, putting them in positions where every day they came in and focused on their strengths. But we needed the team to be interrelated, collaborate, forget what your functional expertise was.
Yeah.
So I wasn't a bad communicator. I didn't need 10 communicators. But I knew I needed someone to join the dots. I needed someone who was more numerate than me. I
Right.
needed someone who's more risk averse. I needed someone to look after the governance. I needed someone to. Forget the job title, forget the area of it. But when we came together as a team, I was the hard charger. I want to do it and I want to do it now. And someone
Yeah.
in the team needed to say, can we just hold that for a moment? Can we go back through and I needed to learn to listen and accept that they might be right. There'd be someone saying, I think we could do this in a really different way. Or we've missed something over there. Let's just press on the gas a little. Every one of us brought something different to the party.
Yeah.
It was no longer the best person for the job. It was the best person for the team. When I was at Pepsi, they used to call it your spike. What's your spike? And my boss, the chief executive, used to say, René, your job is to make your spike here.
Interesting. Right.
Don't work on your weaknesses. We'll build that in your team. And it was just liberating. And you know what? The things I tend to be good at, the things I tend to enjoy, the things I tend to enjoy, the things I tend to be good at. And I do that with my chief executives now. And we build them as well. So last week I was doing a session for they're called the sports industry group. They run something called Next Gen, the top 30 people under 30 in the sports industry off the field, from marketeers to PR to agents to managers to operations directors, from football to boxing to cricket to tennis to rugby to, and every year I do the last coaching session of the year with these, and it is sparky. It's at the very end of the session, this guy came over to me, very quiet, and he said, in a soft spoken, he said, you've overcome adversity throughout your career. Well, how do you say it? He said, well, I'm of East Asian descent. And I sometimes, every now and again, when something doesn't quite work out for me, I can't help thinking about it. What do you do? I'm operations director at Brentford Football Club. You've not done too badly.
Mm-hmm.
He's very early 30s, disgracefully young and talented. And he said, I was born with a little defect in the front of my foot. And when things go wrong, I can't help thinking that may be holding me back. I looked at him, I said, get out of your way. Get over yourself.
Right.
You are doing fantastically well. And he paused and he said, I suppose I am. And there's no suppose about it. How are you enjoying it? He said, it's fabulous. The chair trusts me. The club trusts me. They give me more responsibility. I'm really enjoying my job. I don't want to hear any more of this self-pitying, inward-looking, thinking about, come on, look at you here. It was hard to get on this course. You're doing it. He said, I've got a story for you. I said, oh, yeah, what's that? He said, and when I left university, I was on the graduate recruitment program for Arsenal Football Club 8 years ago. How disgracefully young is that? And he said, when I joined, 8 of us joined, and what they gave each of us was a copy of Spike.
Did they?
Guess how that made... when I felt myself being coached and being led?
Yeah.
It was a beautiful, beautiful moment, and he just smiled at me. My team who was with me, we all just smiled inwardly.
Yeah.
For a Chelsea fan, I might have taken that bit back.
But René, you're a very convincing character and you're very strong in your views, but you must, when you bring in this controversial or almost 180-degree opposite way of looking at things, you must get resistance. How do you manage to convince the more difficult people to go along with you?
With incredible ease. You will not believe how easy it is to catch people doing things right. There's nothing like praise to get you going. The first thing I do when I meet anyone I'm working with, let's find out what they're brilliant at. Not what they're good at. What they're brilliant at. The secret sauce. The bit that makes them stand out. And I've got to pick those up really quickly. Forget this red, green, blue stuff. Forget the psychometrics. I'm going to try and pick that instantly. So what I try to do is see them in action. And my job is to pick that up nearly instantly.
Right.
Before I take on an assignment, I tend to sit in the reception and unannounced,
No, you do.
unobserved, and you pick it all up. And if I exaggerate a bit just to make the point, when the leaders come in, I see those that are staring on their phone, no time for anyone, reading the next email, takes them about 15 seconds to traverse across the reception, get in the lift. Everyone else holds their breath in the lift because they don't talk to them, they're too busy looking at their emails. They walk out. If that's a particular experience. At the other end of the spectrum is those who come in and know everyone's first name. And it takes them 15 minutes because it's, Margaret, how's your son's... When he passed his degree at the weekend, how did it go? What did you do? How's the bar mitzvah, David?
Okay.
And they, guess what they're doing?
Yeah.
They're leading.
Yeah.
They're connecting. They're coaching. They're giving them something to belong to. So here's a story. 3 women working on a building site, breaking stones. It's the toughest work you've ever seen. And they're dripping in sweat. The journalist comes to the first and says, why do you do this work? I haven't worked for 3 years. I took the first job I could get. Comes second, why do you do this job? I've got a husband and 3 kids to feed. I took the first job I could get. Goes to the third, why do you do this job? She looks up, wipes the sweat from her brow. I'm helping to build a cathedral.
Okay, right.
And it might be a mosque, it might be a synagogue, it might be a temple, depending on where.
Yeah.
I am not doing a menial, manual, repetitive job.
Right.
The role of today's leader, make everyone in your organization, within your team, feel as though they're helping to build that cathedral.
Right.
No menial jobs.
Right.
Everyone's important. The office has become the strangest place to lead from today. Your job, be visible.
Mm-hmm.
Give the spreadsheet to someone else.
Yeah.
Take the emails out. Your job, touch, connect, feel, empower, enlighten, liberate. Make them feel they're part of something special. Why? Then they'll go the extra mile. They'll feel trusted. That's what drives business performance.
Okay.
Not the measurement.
Okay. So, René, you work across the world. I'm curious to get your thoughts on how do you find the differences in leadership style between Asia, you do a lot of work in Africa, Europe, Middle East even, and the US. So, I mean, obviously cultural differences form the bedrock of human nature and so on. But how do you see the leadership styles differing?
It's a great and insightful question. Now, sometimes frustratingly, when I get off the plane at JFK or I'm in LAX Airport, Los Angeles, the first thing that hits you is a work ethic that is not present in any other region apart from the United States of America. There's a work ethic that you can't avoid it. They just move faster, they're hungrier, they think bigger, they jump higher, and it's nowhere matches it. China's not a million miles close to it. Europe is nowhere near it. This is just exceptional. As frustrating as it is to me, because I like to bottle it and take it elsewhere, it's in their DNA, it's part of the culture. Not only that, and more tellingly, in Europe, coaching chief executives is still challenging because in Europe, the overriding mindset is coaching is remedial. You're here to fix a problem.
Okay.
And don't publicize the fact I don't need a coach, thank you very much. We go to any further east, multiply, magnify, the Gulf, Asia, Africa. It's, for differing reasons, having a public notification of having a coach, it's not
very
where
interesting.
to be. Public humiliation.
Really?
You go to America, every Fortune 500 chief executive has someone similar to me.
They see it as developmental, René.
More acceleration.
Right.
If I'm going to get there and I want to win, I need some help to get there. Let me have the best coach available. And I'm public. René is my coach.
Yeah.
I'll go to every session. I'll be in the board meeting and they'll refer to me. There is no sense of embarrassment. In fact, there's pride.
Really? Wow.
And so therefore, in the boardrooms, your board insights thing, here's the biggest insight I see. I've grown up in the world of the Cadbury rules, the Cadbury approach to everything, that the chief executive cannot be the chair. You've got to separate those roles for good governance.
Yes.
The chair holds the chief executive to account. When I go to America, nearly everywhere I work, the chief executive is the chair. And I still grimace and find that. Embarrassingly, day by day, I'm becoming a fan of it.
Are you?
The board I serve on here, the boards I work with the chief executive, where I might be coaching the chair, Europe, Britain, we're so governance-led. It's all about not making mistakes. It's all about getting things right. It's not about growth. It's not about winning. It's not about sales. It's not about drive. It's don't make mistakes. Board meetings here can be a day long, 2 days long, with everyone going through the minutiae detail, and the executives turn up, and I'm exaggerating to make the point, I know, the executives turn up to get their homework marked. And the non-execs have been through every line of detail, highlighted the bits that is not their job. When you go to America, so the other thing in the UK and Europe, it'd be a supervisory board in Europe or the non-executive directors over here, there are far too many former CFOs, far too many former chief risk officers, far too many legal. It's a machine that's set up to prevent failure.
Right.
So when our chancellor stands up and says, I want to increase productivity, go look at the boards of directors. I go to America.
Most businesses aren't failing because of bad ideas. They're stuck because great ideas aren't landing for them. The culture says one thing, the strategy says another, and the customer is caught in the middle. That's why I created the 7 Steps to Profit, a practical business framework to solve that. It's not another off-the-shelf solution. It's a proven transformation framework that joins the dots across culture, strategy, leadership, customer, and execution, with the tools and structure to make it stick. Our support is also enhanced by our own organisation health assessment to give you clarity on what you need to work on. If you're ready for real alignment, measurable progress, and execution discipline, visit 7stepstoprofit.com. That's the number 7. 7stepstoprofit.com and book your no-strings discovery call.
The first thing you notice is it's current chief executives on the board. No former CFOs, it's current chief executives. The board meetings last 2 or 3 hours. Governance doesn't dominate everything, sometimes doesn't even appear, it's held elsewhere. You get in there and it's exhilarating, it's confrontational, it's sparky. Everyone's out there aligned to winning. And the challenging, the hitting each other hard, and nobody minds. It's just they're out to win. And the language is the language of winning. The language is the language of growth. Everyone in there has got a reputation of growing businesses.
Right.
Guess which one I prefer?
Sure. And I have to ask you, leaving politics aside, what do you think of Donald Trump's leadership style?
It's a very short conversation.
Right. Well,
look, we have a collection of geriatrics, old men in their 70s and 80s who have done amazing things in their background.
Yes.
Who have sometimes been the democratic voice for transformation. In their 70s and 80s, and I sometimes see this with the chief executives I work with, the wisdom somehow gets contorted to wanting to be around forever, no longer wanting to leave office.
Yes.
Becomes a little bit too personally focused. It's all about them. Where do we see this politically? And with Donald Trump as the poster boy. I'm seeing this in so many different nations. You could name them, I could name.
Yeah.
It's not about their constituents, it's not about the electorate. It's become all about them. And the brilliance of yesteryear has turned to an inward-looking selfishness.
Right.
And the bit I came in at the beginning, in a world where voices are muted and people aren't prepared to dissent publicly anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe we deserve the leaders we get. The movement I'm trying to build inside the organisation, in the schools I work with, in the community, in the youth clubs I work with, is let's help those who haven't got a voice find their voice. Let me take you back again to the beginning. Creating an environment where everyone feels they can thrive and flourish. They're not going to be forced to fit in. They're not going to be judged, but they can be their authentic self with their voice.
Yeah.
That's the alternative. And we need a bunch of leaders who aren't afraid to speak up. We need a bunch of leaders who are going to leave their egos at the door. We need a bunch of leaders where they're not in it for themselves, they're in it for others.
Yeah. Isn't it shocking, though, to see such an array of highly experienced people around President Trump that undoubtedly were successful in their work lives, but now being what seems to me to be totally subservient here?
Look, I've seen this. I talked about the Jack Welch era,
Yeah.
where the cleverest man in the room made all the calls. It
Yeah.
was commonplace.
Yeah.
We still see it in the established chief executive who has been successful for many, many years. None of the executive team challenges. When they do, they're removed.
Mm.
And that sense of fear, we're seeing Donald Trump is the best exponent of it, but there are many of them.
Yeah.
Many national leaders, we see them in football clubs, we see them where fear
Yeah.
is what they instill. And what I'm trying to do, and what I work with, is getting a bunch of people who are more courageous,
Yeah. Yeah.
who are prepared to stand. Let's not blame those people who have taken advantage of it. Let's put the blame on those of us who haven't had the courage to stand up and find our voice. It's difficult. So
Yeah.
part of my coaching is, one, get the leaders to be resilient and accept dissent. It's a plus. It's not
Yeah.
to be feared. Diversity is a strength.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Secondly, let's coach those leaders to know the language, how to do it, the place, the time, the tone, the words. We'll be in a better world if we had lots of different views that aligned around together, as
Yeah.
opposed to one voice was the only one that was heard. It can never be the best way. More
Mm.
heads are better
Mm.
than one.
It's difficult, and I can see the difficulties when you go further east from the US because you're moving into cultural traits and that are quite hierarchical, particularly Middle East and Asia. So getting them to think differently, René, is a challenge. I see that myself.
I was in Poland a month ago, and I went to Wrocław. I hadn't been there for 15 years. I saw everything I dream of. One, an infrastructure transformation. When I went there before, the airport was a shed. Now it's an international airport that can
Yes.
compare
Yeah.
with anything. The hotel I stayed in 15 years ago, I've managed to delete from my memory banks. This one was exceptional.
Right.
There were 3 restaurants in the hotel, none of them Polish. One Japanese, one Indian, one Mexican.
Mm.
Road infrastructure, hospitals, airports, the
Yeah.
whole thing had changed. But the biggest change, the confidence in those 1 million people came at the time of the EU. 1 million people came from Poland to the UK.
Right. A
At
million. Wow.
Brexit, half of them went back.
Yep.
They went back with a confidence. They didn't go
They
back.
did.
They didn't run away. They went back to transform Poland. What the EU did for Poland with its huge investment, the confidence there, the leadership from a different generation.
Right.
Everything's made there now for the push I'm hoping. And I found when I was staying at the conference, no one challenged me. Everyone stood in line. Everyone was beautifully polite. And I had to create a revolution. Stop being so polite with me. Challenge me. Have a dissenting voice. The following day, I was due to run a 6-person VIP masterclass. It was packed. People coming in to learn how they could find their voice.
Right.
Learn how to differ without falling out.
Yeah.
That's where the future is. All voices are powerful.
Mm.
Biggest change I see when I'm coaching. So Harvard did some research. It's been game-changing for me and my coaching. They said mentees get a 16% career acceleration out of a mentoring relationship. They said mentors get a 53%
Oh,
career acceleration.
major.
Yes.
Right.
So your eyes say it all. When I say it in front, so we looked at this further. You get the mentees one. That's easy.
Yeah.
But what we saw was, especially when the mentee and mentor come from different backgrounds, The mentor's got to work hard at the leadership, create an environment where they're prepared to speak up, where they find their voice, where they're prepared to challenge, where they're prepared to speak out, where they're prepared to share how they really feel. So they get the most out of the learning. But it changes you as a leader. You learn about psychological safety. You learn how to listen intentionally. You know how not to judge. You remove your biases. When you go back to your place of work, you fundamentally changed as a leader. So here's the biggest tip you'll ever get. Go find yourself a mentor. More vitally, go find yourself some mentees.
Right.
Also, as a leader. Good leaders create followers. Great leaders create leaders.
Yeah. René, I want to round up and focus just on one other topic, which I know you're very, very passionate about, and that is culture. Because the link between leadership, you said it already at the beginning, purpose, vision, people, team, and culture.
Well done, yes.
So how do you define culture?
The way we get things done around here.
Okay.
Unique to every organisation and business, to every football team, to every netball team, to every school. The bit you've got, when you put all your ingredients together, your people, your strategy, your pay, your environment, it's a culture that's unique to that environment. Some people just see that, well, it's our culture, it's our DNA. So my job, mobilise it, energize it, use it as a competitive advantage. Talk about it, live it, breathe it. Get people to be proud to be part of it, to build it, to oxygenate it.
Yeah.
It becomes, as we always say, culture is somehow more powerful than strategy.
Yeah.
It's the bit that makes a difference. It's what attracts talent. It's what keeps people. It's what makes you whole.
Do you see a difference in organizations that have a defined culture, in other words, that they've owned it and said, this is our culture, versus those who have an accidental culture that might be different in different departments because they haven't defined it? Do you see a difference in both?
The Queen said I shouldn't name drop, so I won't. But I was working with Carlo Ancelotti, maybe one of the most successful football managers ever. And I was interviewing in front of an audience at the London School of Economics in the Students' Union. And two things. I said to him, he was on his way from Paris Saint-Germain to Bayern Munich. I mean, just listen to that. I said to him, what was it like to be sacked, trying to be provocative to get things going? And he just leant back and smiled. He said, you can't be successful without having tasted the sack. He said, it gives you the time to recharge and think about what culture did you leave behind? How could you have enhanced that culture? And what do you do differently next time for that culture? I said, give me an example. And he said, every club I've been at, from Chelsea to Real Madrid, is when things start to go wrong, the owners, the chair, the leaders, the directors, they'll come to me and say, you're too kind to the players. Use the whip. And he says, that's when I know the sack is coming, because I'm not going to use the whip. That is not the culture that I have.
Right.
I know by strong support, strong direction, positivity is where I get the best performances. Those who want a coach, a manager, a leader who's going to use the whip, that's not me. The cultures I build is for people to want to be the best they want to
be. Okay. So are you saying that culture is hugely or heavily weighted on the style of the main leader?
Yes, but it's more than that. I think the leader is the model exemplar. You're the close proximity role model for everything. So it's what you do, not what you say.
Right.
So try an example, if you come in early every day, guess what happens?
Yeah.
If you respect everyone every day, guess what happens?
Yeah.
If you remember people's first names, guess what happens?
Sure.
And it's infectious, it's important, it's vital, it's the biggest competitive advantage, and it costs you nothing.
Sure.
Why wouldn't you?
Amazing. René, you're not even considering retirement, are you?
I've been trying for 7 years. My daughter tells me that, Dad, you better start with learning to spell it.
Exactly.
Do a job that you love, you never work a day in your life.
True. True. So how do you spend your time? I mean, you spend so much time in planes, I know, and traveling, but what makes you tick outside of all this, René?
So I'm an incurable Chelsea fan,
You
and
really?
that helps. But more than that, you become a student of leadership. And
Right.
leadership is presented to me. Closing story for you. My neighbour, she's just over 80. She's troublesome, busybody, the most beautiful, kind woman in the world that you could ever meet. But she has her moments, and her moments are nearly every day. We're at the gate, and she comes up, and she says, "Where's that postman? This new postman, he's always late. New postman, he's been with us 4 years." Right? Says, "Where's the new postman? He's always late." At that moment, the postman walks up. He's fantastic. I've never noticed him to be late. And she says to me, go on, tell him off." So I say to him, "Sir Peter, some of my neighbours think you're a bit late." He says, "It's true, I am." I said, "Why is that?" He said, "David down the road, he's getting on a bit, and his eyesight's not what it used to be. So I stop and read him his mail before continuing on."
Oh my gosh.
I looked for her, she'd gone. But that's the leadership I'm talking about.
Right. Right. Very good.
Collaboration is the new leadership. When we come together, there's nothing we can't do.
Yeah.
And the advice I give to everyone at the end of every intervention: look out for each other, look after each other.
Great.
That
Well,
way we change the world out.
I can't think of a better sentiment to end this with. René, thank you so much. That's been a tour de force. Really great. I expected it and I got it. And thank you so much. Wonderful
It's
to
been
see you.
wonderful to work with you again. It brings back so many memories. Look after
Indeed.
yourself and
Indeed.
keep on
And
doing what you
anybody
do.
that wants to contact you will find you on carayol.com. Isn't that correct?
Correct.
Super. René, thank you.